Alright people, what's going on? Yeah, I am now. Can you hear me? Alright. Let me see. Okay, cool. Alright, so there's been some major updates here with Dorian, and as you can see here, oh wait a minute, let me back over here. As you can see here, she has woken up the tropics. We're going to get to that in just a minute. But right now it is at 150 miles an hour. It's 7 miles an hour shy of a Category 5. Still has plenty of room to gain strength here, and I personally think it will. They're not saying anything about that at the moment, but it's currently moving west at 8 miles per hour, so it's getting really slow. The Bahamas will get it for sure. Let's see. Where's the cone? There we go. Okay, so currently this is the forecast cone strength. I'm sorry, the forecast cone. As you can see from previous forecast models that we have done, all of Florida was under this cone. Now just Central Florida to the East Coast. And that's because the high pressure system up here has weakened a little bit, allowing it, giving it more room to make a turn, which is what it would have done anyway had that pressure system not been there. So this is where we're sitting at right now, and basically Palm Beach all the way to Virginia Beach is now in this cone of possibly getting hit with this hurricane. What will happen here in Tampa? Probably just a lot of wind and rain. Other than that, at this point, I don't know. And nobody really does know what's going on, unfortunately. But here is our wind forecast, and as you can see, the winds extend quite a distance. So just because we're not going to get Dorian directly above us doesn't mean we're not going to see winds for a while, right? So let's move over to my favorite, and we have this set on the European model, and this is for today, starting today. As you can see, there's Dorian right out here, and we're going to go ahead and play it. So we're into Sunday. Now it's over the Bahamas. Now we're into Monday. And let's pause this. What I want to do is put a marker there. We want to raise our surface winds to, we'll say 3,000 feet. There we go. I don't know if it'll hit at a Category 5 BAM, but I'm pretty sure it's going to get there. It will get to that strength. This is Tuesday at 1 a.m. over the Bahamas. Yeah, see, the Bahamas is going to slow it down a little bit. You can't hear very well? Oh, okay. Maybe I should just talk a little louder. I'm trying not to be too loud though. Chris is sleeping. So this is the gusts that it's going to catch up here. the Bahamas is going to slow it down a little bit for sure. Okay. I don't know. Will it hit as a Category 5? I don't think so, but it could get to that strength. Okay. So let's continue the path here. Let me zoom out. You see it's just hugging the East Coast right here. This is, again, the European model. Again, does not exclude us. It does not get us out of the woods. But there could potentially be landfall, Charleston, Myrtle Beach. I don't know. I mean, this is, and Sippin' on Fire lives in Oak Island, North Carolina. So she could get it again. I mean, they went through Florence. It was terrible. All right. Now let's switch it back to the GFS model. And we'll start from today. Can you hear me better? You can see these models are very consistent, okay? So here we have our marker somewhere in southern Florida. Not sure where. So this is Monday midnight. Now you see this American model kind of has it breaking up a little bit and also just kind of hovering off the East Coast. Where the majority of the storm is not even going to touch anybody here in Florida. I mean, they did create a lot of panic, but I mean, you kind of have to take these things seriously. As you can see, this is a very large storm, and we're going to get tons of rain here for a long time. All right. So if I had to make a prediction, I mean, let's check out Savannah real quick. Wind. Put it at 1,000 feet. Yeah, and then there's also the king tide, guys. So king tide is already, provides a lot of water and higher tides anyway. Now you got this thing pushing more water in. Honestly, at this point, I'm going to have to say Charleston. There's the eye right there. I'm going to have to say Charleston, although as you can see, all of Georgia here, South Carolina, and parts of North Carolina are going to be affected with a storm. But I want to show you something here. This is Wednesday at 7 o'clock, 66 mile an hour winds. Now if we go over here, $55, okay? But if we go down here, see, it can vary, 75. There's actually hurricane force winds right there. But then, as I told you before, the majority of our strength of winds is here, here, and here. Now this is surface winds at 1,000 feet, okay? We also have all this land from Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, all this disrupting the strength. So that's where they're saying possibly a Category 2. Now let's continue. This is Wednesday at noon, and you can see the eye is right here off the coast, just kind of hugging onto it. And then we have Wednesday, 5 p.m., the eye is in Myrtle Beach. Good thing my mother doesn't live there anymore. any questions that we may have so far? So again, that was the American model. What does this mean for people, our fellow people in the East Coast? See, all this rain and stuff in the Midwest too, so. Well, let's see. Again, we're looking at the American model, and as it is approaching the Atlantic Ocean again, you can see it starts to build up a little more strength, and then weakens a little bit. So New York, New Jersey, DC, we'll probably see some heavy rains, winds, nothing too out of the ordinary. Let's zoom in here. Can y'all see the map okay? Okay, so we have a pretty good, oh, your kids in Jacksonville, that's right. We have a pretty good overview here of what New England may look like. Let's get her up there. All right, that's a good spot to start. So we know one person is in Baltimore. We just got to find Baltimore. There's DC. What we got here? 35-mile-an-hour winds. That's not terrible. But Salisbury could see 51 miles an hour. Atlantic City. Well, I didn't want that. 40. So, I mean, again, you're going to see some heavy rain, heavy wind, but it shouldn't be too bad. All right, so let's progress here a little bit further. Now let's see, she's back over the ocean, and she could potentially start gaining more strength. You can see the swirl of wind here, the pattern, the circulation, everything's looking really good for more strength. But unfortunately for her, she's gonna wait for this thing to catch up. She's gonna take her butt right on out to sea. Now we'll pause here real quick. This is the high pressure system that I was telling you about when we had originally thought it was going to go over the whole state of Florida and out to the Gulf, okay? This high pressure system was much further down, keeping it, so this is basically like a bubble for Dorian, right? So picture this like an air bubble, and it just bounces off like a, I don't know, like one of those gutters in a bowling alley, right? Boom. So this was much lower down, and that's where we were getting the original track just not more than a day or two ago. Right over the, the state. So, as I've stated many times before, that, these things, they can change, and they do change very frequently. Rain and thunder, let's see what we got. Okay, so this is our rain accumulation. We need to change that to, oh, I don't really want that. I thought I was able to change, oh, next 10 days. So this is our rain accumulation right here, starting from now until the next 10 days. As you can see, Georgia, South Carolina could potentially see up to 10 inches of rain, but this is what was here the other day when I did the live, where it was going this way and it was hovering over Miami. So that high pressure system is also dragging all this heavy, heavy rain I mean, that's 21 inches of rain right here. So it's taking it with it, right? And this large rain band is what was, this here was what was potentially a threat for Florida. Now it looks like more of the Carolinas could potentially see some heavy rain. And again, this could change at 5 o'clock when, you know, they come out with a new update. We don't know. It's just really sad for technology and what we have that we can't even drum up accurate weather. I mean, you know, but anyway, what I wanted to talk to you about though was my thumbnail. Let me find it. Okay. As I had also stated, the Dorian, it appears as if she's waking up the tropics. So we have this disturbance here in the next 48 hours. There's a 10% chance of it forming. Basically, it says a broad area of low pressure located over the southern Gulf of Mexico is producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Some gradual development of the system is possible during the next several days while it moves slowly westward across the southern and southwestern Gulf of Mexico. This way. But we all know things could change. This could be, I'm not saying anything, but it could be, you know, another storm system that could threaten, you know, the Gulf states up here. We don't know. And then there's this one. This is the one I talked about in the previous live feed. If you remember, I said watch out for on or around the 6th of September. Well, now they have discovered it. This has been on the radar officially for a couple 3 days, but it's been such a low chance of forming. Now, for basically, it's saying the environmental conditions appear conducive for development of the system, and a tropical depression could form next week while the system moves across the eastern tropical Atlantic. Heavy rainfall is possible over portions of the southern Cabo Verde Islands during the next few days, and interests in those islands should monitor the progress of the system. Formation chance for the next 5 days, medium, 60%. Let's see what this one's looking like. And we got wind shear right here, so it's keeping it from developing at this point. But let's go ahead and put this back on European model. So far, I don't really see anything. This is the system right here that they're talking about. See, it's got to get through all that wind shear. It's got to get over through all that dry air. Got some development here. But remember when the live video I did where it was actually showing like 90 some mile an hour winds, that's because of that pressure system up here that has now since moved. So you can see it's trying to develop into something here with Thursday 1 p.m. I just don't see it at the moment. There's another potential problem here. All right, here we go. This is Saturday at 5 a.m. It's in between the two pockets of dry air and wind shear, so this is where we're getting already. That's at the surface. 61 mile an hour. we're at 5,000 feet at 62 miles an hour. So I don't know. This could potentially be, like I said, something previously, but you know, I caught that last week. Where were they? All right, that's Sunday at 5 a.m. Sunday at 5 a.m. This thing could be a Category 2 hurricane, but we're going to keep an eye on it. We're going to keep an eye on it. And what's going to steer this? Well, that pressure system right there. See what I mean? Like it's like a bubble. See? Now watch. And unfortunately, Monday is it so far. But we are going to keep an eye on 110, 115. What do you think? What are your thoughts? Where do you think this will go? This is as far as it'll take me right now. Dorian's gone at this point. There's Florida. There's all this patch of wind shear, dry air, etc. There's that pressure system here meeting up with another lower pressure system here. So what could potentially happen is this thing could slide up here and go out to sea. This thing could bounce around, come this way. We don't know. It's too soon to tell, clearly. But we didn't see anything as far as that disturbance in the Gulf that they were talking about, so I'm not really going to worry about that at this point. But the jet streams are really, really funny right now, and unfortunately, there's no way to really tell about any of it. Look at this massive stream here and the storm here. Yeah, this also has a lot to do with it too, because you can see it's taken up a lot of the space in the air and everything else there too. So this is going to be our next one to watch here, guys, on or around the 6th, 7th of September. This is going to be our next one to watch. From what it looks like at this current status, and of course that's a long way to go to make any type of definite forecast. There's really no way to do that. But the way it looks right now, with the way the stream is and everything, it's probably going to slide right out of here and go out to sea. But at this point, that could change. So anyway, that's all I have for you at this point. But yes, it was a major change, at least far as Florida goes, because it looks like it made that turn a little earlier than they expected. And while it's still a catastrophic storm, impacts may not be as great, but we're still going to, well, obviously we have to keep an eye on coastal flooding, wind damage, things like that. No one's out of the woods yet, but it's looking like it's not going to be as bad as people had thought. Then again, this could change tomorrow, so we're going to keep an eye on it. I will keep you posted as I always do. That's all I got for you today. Have a great day, guys.